a lot of the time people kind of appease themselves with the greenwashing or the marketing that, you know, is all over fashion, beauty, health especially. So, yeah, I guess you've got a beauty company. How do you guys manage that? Like, how did you do sourcing and all that stuff?
Yeah. The thing with certifications and basically anything, any words that you see attached to brands, you realize that whoever's got the most money, they can pay to say whatever they want.
Yeah, I got told by an organic company, organic certifier, we could buy a certification basically, that we could pay them and they'd...
Yeah.
And I was like, well, no, I refuse.
Yeah, so I'm less interested. I mean, certifications are great when used responsibly, but I think the amazing thing with the greenwashing is that people have become desensitized to these big buzzwords and they more want to see what the reality of that is. And because I had this background with me, as well as I'd supported a few brands through their B Corp certification, and at one stage I was designing a sustainable wash house in Cambodia, and that just took me on its own journey. So I've been able to look at businesses from every aspect, I guess, from like creation of the product to ambassadoring the product to designing more efficient practices of the product.
Yeah, such a great foundation.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was all preparing me for to have this little fairy business. But yes, fantastic. And so I brought that with me as an inherent value of creating Bluem, is being a profit for purpose business. And yeah, so when I was designing what products do we want to make, it wasn't like a let's test all of the fruits and flowers out there and decide which one's the best by scientifically comparing them all. It was like back in my intuition. All right, what soil am I standing on? I'm in Australia. What plants are native to this area? What can I go and see and touch with my own hands and look in the eyes of the person who is growing this and trust that that intention starts long before the seed is planted in the ground. It actually starts in the community that's based around the land and what's the stories that the land holds. And if we start there and start really simple and just building it one by one, it became a really simple process of, all right, our finger lime has grown 100 kilometers down the road. Our kakadu plum, the garbage that we recently were able to go travel and see, it's the only thing grown not on this side. So when like the pandemic happened, our whole business was able to keep running because everything was done in like a 200, 300 kilometer radius.
Yeah, I was speaking to Shay before and she's like, you guys had to jump the border so you could stay within the like shipping lanes.
Yeah.
So you could drive stuff in.
Yeah. And I don't know many businesses that were able to do that because everything was created with the intention of like, what can I see and touch right here in this real world? And I was very passionate about maintaining that. So the only thing that wasn't grown right here and on the other side of the country, but still on this beautiful country, is our kakadu plum. And recently we were given the opportunity to go and meet the community, which we wanted to do ever since the start, but lockdown happened basically at the start of everything. So we just had to trust the word that we had received on it, which was very strong integrity word. So I felt like we could go forward with it. But there was nothing like putting our feet on the earth and meeting the community and understanding the practices of the wild harvest and what it takes for the community to be able to harvest seasonally, as well as to maintain the product supply, and how this avenue of harvesting supports the whole community and has a ripple effect of the humans that live there. And it just gave me such a stronger intention of why it's so important to work with real ingredients and high integrity ingredients. Because, you know, Bluem, a lot of people will say to me, I don't understand, it's like a miracle serum. I don't understand why it works so well. And I'm like, do you want the science?
Or do you just want to know that it's real?
What is this conversation? Is it nature backed by science, or is it science backed by nature? And for me, it's science backed by nature. Science is just speculating things. And we can come up with a bunch of clever solutions of why certain things happen, but nature knows so much more than we do. And being on the land and knowing
plants have a consciousness that, you know, my yoga teacher always says that humans and plants, like, yes, animals, but they're connected to the earth, like we're connected to heaven, and there's this download exchange that goes on. And that's been my relationship with herbs and with plant,
it's all about synergistic healing.
And they want what's best for us, and we're in service to them. And if we can kind of maintain the symbiosis, that's where the healing for humanity comes from, I think. And people get that from using your products, from using our products. And I think with science, like something that frustrates me no end is like people hook on to one active ingredient or one constituent. And I'm like, something like reishi, which, there's something over 800 unidentified constituents in reishi.
Yeah.
Not to mention the stuff that we can't even measure yet, like the chi, the prana, like whatever you want to call it. Like, stop worrying about that stuff. Like, how do you feel when you take it? Like, how is it sourced? Who's growing it? What's it doing for their community? How's it working?
Is it still alive by the time it gets to me and you act the, the label on the top of it? It's like, process? I know it was reishi once, but is it still?
I don't know. There's just so many, ineffable factors, I guess. And I think people are so used to being guided by their minds in terms of their consuming and their habits. And it's like, let's start tapping into something else.
Yeah.
Hearts are good. Bodies are great.
It's like all these other beauty, skincare businesses are out there telling you what you want to hear. And it's like, I don't ever want to be that with Bluem. It's like, it is a bit of a miracle potion, because it's like what is coming into play here when you engage with such a high integrity product is so much more than you can ever describe. And I feel like with Bluem, naming them by the name first, like not calling them a miracle elixir or glow or whatever. This is the Kakadu plum, this is the finger lime, and it's just building that trust that people have with nature where they're reaching to a plant to help heal them.
Yeah.
And if it's as simple as that, and maybe that relationship in itself, to people who have tried every chemical under the sun and their skin is so much worse than when they started, that changes the relationship from like, I need more and I don't care what it is, just put it on my face, to I am just in a simple relationship with nature. I trust in nature to heal me, and I trust myself to help heal it as well. And that's the synergy of healing that happens. And sometimes that is more powerful than whatever is in that bottle.